Welcome to Same Pod, Different Cast. Each week we talk about a crazy story. I'm Mel Black.
And I'm Marie White. We are a couple of moms who like listening to tales of survival, humor, and mystery, but also be around our kiddos. Parental discretion is advised.
Today we have a very special guest here to help us with commentary. She is a performer, photographer, comedian, marketer for the Cabaret in Indianapolis, lover of a good gherkin as well as a fine whiskey. Brittany King, everyone.
Lover of a good gherkin is going to be literally on my resume.
It's a mantra.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. We're so excited for you to be here.
Yeah, full transparency. One of the reasons why we named the podcast this was one, Brittany came up with the name and we loved it. But two was we wanted other cast members to come on periodically to help us commentate and tell stories. So we're finally rolling this out. And Brittany is our tester. I don't know how to better say that.
Guinea pig, lab
You're my
rat.
test dummy. Yeah, there we go.
Why do all the terms for that have to be like about animal abuse?
We laugh because it's uncomfortable. Okay, so I don't have an intro for today's story other than to say I need you to keep two things in mind. One, this is absolutely 100% a true story. And two, by the end of it, you are desperately going to wonder what is wrong with the health and safety officials in Maiden, North Carolina.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's Maiden, North Carolina. Still, even if there's a Maiden, let's question that too.
You'll learn how to pronounce it when their healthcare officials learn how to do their jobs. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's not their fault, like as in the community of Maiden,
Okay, you're
North
right, you're right.
Carolina.
Sorry to anyone listening from that city that I'm not going to accidentally mispronounce. Yeah.
Okay, having said that, let's jump in. It's 2007 in Maiden, North Carolina, and for Shannon Wasnot, today he's already winning. He has just won a grill from a storage shed that was being sold at auction. But what the local businessman and entrepreneur really wanted was fame and notoriety. But for now, he'll settle for the grill. Now he gets the grill home, unloads it, he opens it up, and on the inside, he finds what at first he thinks is a big piece of driftwood. But after a few moments, he realizes that he is actually looking at a mummified human leg.
What?
In the grill box?
He opens the grill, and inside the grill is sitting a mummified human leg.
Cool.
Not cool. Not cool.
Naturally, he calls the sheriff.
What's the problem there?
I got a human foot.
Have a what?
A human foot. And it's plumb nasty, got me grossed out.
Plum nasty. Oh my God.
I don't think it would have been as effective if he didn't have that, North Carolina, that accent. Like,
oh, absolutely.
The second I heard plum nasty, it was like,
This, I just can't believe how chill he sounded, though. If I found that and had to call the police, don't think I'd use the words plumb nasty. I think I would use a lot of words that I have to remember not to use on this podcast because it's supposed to be safe for children. So good for him for being cool about it.
There was a documentary made in 2015 about what happens here, and I am going to spare you a lot more detail that he said about finding that foot, because I listened to it and I was like, oh, I'm so happy I just had chicken wings.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so the sheriff comes out and confirms that indeed it was a human leg. They confiscate it and take it to a local funeral home until further investigations are done. Now, if this was a normal story, that would probably be the end of it for Shannon. But Shannon is not a normal guy. Remember, he is looking for notoriety, and instantly, from the moment he found that leg, he had an idea. He wanted to set up a roadside attraction and showcase the mummified leg, selling tickets for $10 a piece.
$10 to pull over and look at a dead person's limb
that he doesn't have anymore. So
cool.
Not cool.
So, when the sheriff came to collect it, he constantly reminded them that he paid for it and that it belonged to him. I mean, he's kind of got a point, though, if you think about it, because he paid for the grill. It was in the grill. He did an interview where he said, you know, it's like buying a mattress and finding $1 million tucked in the mattress. You kind of own what's...
But it's somebody else's leg. Like, it's not his.
Also, there's gotta be... Okay, so as a collector of oddities, I do know that different states have different laws about owning human remains, not like ashes, but like bones, body parts, things like that.
Sure.
You know, I've got my fallopian tubes in a jar, and I have part of a human skull. So Indiana, it's legal, but I just have a feeling he didn't necessarily look up the laws. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I almost guarantee you he didn't. So,
you look horrified, Marie.
I mean, the whole statement was horrifying. Every part of it was. Not untrue, but horrifying.
You can imagine his disappointment, however, when he hears that a man named John Wood called the sheriff and tells them, I want my leg back.
Oh my gosh. What?
Oh my god, I love this so much.
You see, in 2004, John, who at this point was about a year into his sobriety, is spending some quality time with his father, Tom. And Tom decides, you know what? I think I want to take the plane up one more time. He obviously owns a plane. He's selling it literally tomorrow. So he wants to get it out for one more flight. So Tom, John, and 2 other relatives decide to take the plane up. And they're about 15 miles from a local airport when the wind picks up and unfortunately the plane nosedives.
Sorry,
Stop,
that part's not funny. I'm so sorry.
Not, it gets so much more uncomfortable. I'm just going to warn you.
Thanks, Mel. Thanks.
Yep. John ultimately has to have his leg amputated but the pain of losing his leg was not nearly as intense as the pain of losing his father, who did not survive the crash. The other two family members did survive, though. John was on the mend, but not before, unfortunately, relapsing on his addiction due to the pain medication that was provided to him through his surgery. But he was in a better place about 18 months after the crash, and he decided he wanted to make some kind of memorial for his dad, and he thought the object to use was the bones from his leg. And this was due to the fact that every time he looked at his prosthetic leg, he was reminded of his father. So he wanted to use his leg as a means of honoring him, which
Sorry.
I think kind of makes sense.
He wants to use his own leg that was amputated, not his dad's leg.
His own leg.
Correct. Okay, just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure I was following.
I know you're gonna get to this, but how do you set up a memorial with leg bones?
You can make a lot of really interesting art with bones.
Okay.
Kind of like that, Marie. It's not.
Okay.
It's just like something that he almost like an urn, you know, like people have urns and have.
Okay,
But
so whenever I think of like a memorial, I think of a park that people like set up in because their loved one loved, nature. So they set up this park with a bench kind of thing. And so that's what I was
with a
thinking.
plaque on it or something.
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept. It's just obviously smaller because it's a leg.
It's a leg. And it's not even
guys,
a full leg.
Next time we hang out, if you guys are interested, I actually have a box of deer bones in my bedroom, and we could have craft night.
Tempting.
No? Okay. All right.
Don't think about it.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to think about it.
Great.
So he reached out to the surgeon at Baptist Hospital about getting him the bones to his leg back. And he had to talk to a couple of people, but they agreed to give him his skeletal remains. The mortician drives over to John's house. He walks out to the driveway. He gives him a plastic bag, gets back in his truck, and takes off. What he handed John was his entire leg. Flesh, muscles, toes, toenails, everything.
Oh.
At first, he tried to remove it down to the bone, but quickly realized that he was not going to be able to do that. So he stuck it in his freezer, but his power got shut off.
Oh.
So he gave it to his friend who worked at a Hardee's, and they put it in the freezer there, and that's where it stayed until the manager found it.
No.
I think I threw up in my mouth a little
Not
bit.
a Hardee's. Reason number 4,000 to not go to Hardee's. Dude.
Next, he went back to his buddy who worked at the mortuary and asked for some embalming fluid. He soaked it in the embalming fluid and sticks it in a possum trap strapped to a tree outside so that it could sun dry for 6 months. And that is what technically modified it to its mummified state.
All he has to do is find a taxidermist and get some dermestid beetles. I need to talk to this guy. He's doing all of this wrong.
But also, isn't this kind of a psychological mind F that you're doing this to your own leg? Wouldn't that
remember? No, okay, that doesn't even make sense at that point. I don't know. Maybe in some weird way, this is a healing thing for him.
Yeah, I could see it that way too, but
I feel like it would be weirder if it were the father's leg.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because essentially you're just messing around with your own bits, not somebody else's.
Wow.
At this point, however, John relapses back into his addiction and loses his home. So actually, that might play a role into how he was able to do this.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of this would make a lot more sense under the guise that you're not fully there.
Right. So he puts everything into the storage shed. The leg goes into the grill, and he continues to pay the monthly payment for the shed. But unfortunately, due to his addiction, he wasn't able to make those payments, and that's how he loses ownership of the shed. But John wants it back.
Okay, so at the beginning, the guy won the grill.
Mm-hmm.
So did he know it was a used grill when he won it?
Yes. So
Okay.
he went to an auction because they were selling the contents of the storage shed.
I see. Okay.
Got it.
And and that's kind of how that happened. But it kind of makes me wonder, did no one open the grill?
Well, I actually was just thinking that, but when you auction off storage units, you can only open the door. You can't actually go into it. So I'm sure they were saying like, yeah, they could open it, but what's the point? They can't take it out.
Well, okay, so I thought that too. I thought originally he won the shed, but no, he just bought the grill. So they removed all the contents of that shed and he bought an individual item.
Right, but if it doesn't matter, since he bought the grill, he bought everything that was inside the grill, is what I'm getting at. So they could open it, but...
Yeah. Original argument is why I was like, well, I think maybe he owns the leg. Also, because he bought the contents.
Well, I was thinking if there are like cast iron pots and pans or something to scrub the grill with inside, they could open up, but it wouldn't matter because he bought the grill, so he would own all of this. And I wasn't expecting a mummified leg to be in there.
And at a certain point, did they not think, wow, this box smells like
formaldehyde?
Yeah, like maybe we should look at it before we give it to someone.
Yeah, well, because he dipped it in embalming fluid, right? So it would have a smell, but probably not decomposition.
It wouldn't smell like decomposition, and also it sat outside for 6 months.
I don't know. I got nothing.
I don't know either. I couldn't even imagine what that smells like. Okay. Shannon, however, is not giving up. He has a business opportunity and he is ready to see it through. He starts by calling himself the Footman.
No.
Shortened to Foot as a nickname. Then he starts making t-shirts. Brittany, do you want to tell us what these t-shirts say?
Oh, God. I am friends with the Footman.
Okay, that's the first one.
Oh, there's more?
It's made significantly worse because his face is in the middle of it with two legs that are severed.
Yeah. And it makes him look like he's a lunatic. But the next shirt is even better. Foot Smoker Barbecue Grill.
Oh my God.
This is giving Michael Scott burning his foot on a George Foreman.
He likes the smell of bacon in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He also starts making regular visits to news and radio stations, promoting this sideshow that he is creating, and also mentioning working out a co-ownership, co-custody deal with John.
Custody? They're using the word custody over a severed limb.
Mind you, neither one of them actually have custody of the leg at this point. But John makes it very clear that he is not interested in using his leg as a means of income. Remember, this is kind of painful for him. Not just like physically, but just like a reminder of his father.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, however, John does reclaim ownership of the leg. He does physically get it back. Shannon quickly sues him for ownership. Remember, he bought the grill that it was sitting in, so to him, he believes he rightfully owns the leg.
Oh my God. What? Never. Just keep going. I have so many questions.
So they go on this media tour, and I'm not talking about just locally. Like, German/European televisions pick this up.
Of course they do. Sorry, of course they do. They're like, oh, these Americans are insane.
Yeah. John's sister noted that in the documentary, because he was in the throes of his addiction, instead of taking her to Europe, he took his drug dealer.
Oh no, John.
God.
You're making some poor choices here, buddy.
So many poor choices. But no matter how out of it he was, John, he was adamant, and he never let anybody show the leg on television. He was like really, really adamant about that. And his only motivation for continuing with this like absurd thing was that he wanted to find somebody that could rightfully preserve the leg. And so every time he would go on TV, he's like, no, I'm not going to show the leg. I'm looking for somebody to help me preserve it. And Shannon's crazy. John wasn't the only one affected by this, though. Shannon's marriage definitely struggled.
He's married?
Yeah.
Not for long.
I also think a little bit of his mental health obviously took a toll on this, because he desperately wanted approval and attention from people, which seems to be driving by this like lack of affection that he had in his childhood. The documentary really goes into it. But eventually they get to the point, I know I said it earlier, but this is really kind of the point where Shannon does sue John for ownership of the leg. And by sue, I mean they end up on the show Judge Greg Mathis.
I'm going to run into traffic. This cannot be real.
Please tell me you have like a screenshot of what this judge's face looked like.
Gosh, I clipped the clips of the episode are in the source notes, so you can go on and watch it. But ultimately, Judge Mathis does state that this is an off the wall case. He does have some crazy facial expressions, so it is worth going into the show notes and looking. He does decide that John gets to keep possession of his leg. However, he would have to pay Shannon a judgment of $5,000.
For what exactly?
What?
Because Shannon's argument is that he paid for it.
But did he pay $5,000?
He paid. So I was never able to find how much he paid for the grill. And honestly, $5,000 for a grill, a used grill, seems crazy to me. But his argument was that, it's in the contents of the grill. I paid for the grill. The grill is rightfully mine. Whatever is there is mine. And the judge kind of agrees with that. But he said, there's no way I'm giving you this guy's leg. So basically, John has to buy his leg back.
Okay.
My brain hurts. Unbelievable.
It was stated that the Judge Greg Mathis show did help John find resources to get sober, which I thought was kind of a cool little thing.
Yeah. Got his leg back and his life back.
And
Stop it.
Shannon continued to call himself the Footman.
Oh no.
His Twitter account, or X account, is still up under that name. He at one point decided to run for president, but unfortunately he passed away of a heart attack in 2016.
I want to know what his campaign slogan was.
Me too. Yeah. As of 2015, when the documentary came out, John is sober. He won a little bit on a lottery ticket, and he became a gay. As for the leg, well, to quote the New York Times, actually, Marie, do you want to quote the New York Times?
Sure. For a while, it was stored in a golf bag in a North Carolina pro shop. I'm sorry, with a master's head cover over the toes? Did the shop know it was there? No. Mr. Wood said, and that's the safest place to put it. What?
Wait. Did he work at that pro shop?
I don't know.
He went in there. He just smuggled a leg into a pro shop.
It sat in a Hardee's freezer, guys.
Okay.
What?
Oh, man.
I'm going to second guess every driver that I uncover a head cover from for the rest of my life.
Oh my God.
But eventually, someone was able to help him build that memorial for his dad by preserving his leg, which is pictured right here.
That's actually pretty cool looking.
It is, but I'm shocked that that's what they were able to make it look like, considering how long it stayed unpreserved.
See, that's what I was wondering, because at a certain point, like mummification, I think you have to, if it's out in the heat for a long time, I don't know. This is wild.
To me, though, that looks like bones.
It is bones.
In epoxy.
Yeah.
It is.
So, if, like, obviously, for people who are listening, it does look like a leg, bones, toes, in an epoxy mold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like all you see is the bones, but it's shaped in epoxy. This is insane that it actually looks like that after so long of not being properly preserved.
Yeah.
So whoever made that, their
embalming fluid in a possum trap is not proper.
morticians take note.
Oh my God.
Yeah, whoever made this deserved every penny that they probably made off of it, because that's amazing.
Yeah.
And also terrifying. Like, I would, if I walked into somebody's house and I saw that, I'd be like, ugh, aka Brittany's house.
Sorry, that was so loud. I'm so sorry.
Is somebody coming to take away your mummified appendages?
Probably, man. So, since I only have part of a human skull, I have been worried that, like, I don't have a paper trail for it. So if something happened to this building and they're like rummaging around and all my stuff is in that rubble, I'm getting arrested probably.
Oh my goodness.
Brittany, I'm just gonna say, if you got arrested for that, it would be the least surprising thing.
Yeah.
Okay, final thoughts.
I have none.
Maybe a takeaway?
Open the grill.
Open the grill, man. And I don't know, just be more proactive if you're trying to work with human remains. Don't be putting it in Hardee's. Like, nobody, that's the takeaway. Nobody go to Hardee's in that city.
I would why we don't have reactions from that manager on, like, you found a human limb in a freezer at work?
Surely the guy that brought it in got fired, right?
I would imagine.
I hope so.
Yeah. But also, this is my question that I never got answered. How did John end up back with it? Why? Okay, if the manager found it, why was not the police called?
Oh my God.
At that point?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Again,
But so
another 8,001 reason not to go to Hardee's.
Oh my God. I mean, so this manager finds human remains in a freezer at this place where they're serving food and is basically like, come on, bro, you got to get this out of here. Like, that's all he does.
Yeah.
No idea. I had no context other than that. Now, I don't know if it's on the documentary because, which, by the way, if anybody's super interested, you can go to Amazon Prime and rent the documentary for like $3 or something.
Oh, I'll be doing that.
But I just found clips of the documentary and it never, or at least where I got it, it did not explain that at all. So I got nothing. But anyway, the end.
I know
That is a foot that really has traveled, like, farther than it probably would have had it remained on its human.
Maybe farther than it should have.
Hey, thanks for listening. Research, writing, and editing done by Mel Black. Original music by Caleb Duggar. A special thanks to Marie White. You can find all our sources in our show notes and all of the photos on our Instagram. Username, same pod, different cast. Follow, like, and subscribe for future content.